Hi, this is Mrs. Vallon, and I am going to go through the orthogonal lock plate. Orthogonal drawings require your 45-degree set square, and I've filled out my title block already and set the drawing sheet up so everything is square off my true edge on the left and with my T-square. Alright, the first thing I need to do is I need to box in my views. Okay, so given our drawing, our shape here, we translate this isometric into our front, top and side view. So the first thing I need to do is box in A being the front view. So this is A. Okay, and that is 80. So I am going to, from the lines that are marked here, I'm going to plot the outer dimensions of that shape. So it's 80 wide and 56 tall. So I'm going to go and mark 56, being as accurate as possible, up the side here. Okay, so starting, make sure that's 0, that 56, and marking the height. Okay, now that I've got the width and height of my front view, I am going to use my T-square and my 45-degree set square to use very light lines and translate that up on both edges, sliding the set square along, making sure it's sitting exactly where I want to before I start my lines, and drawing my construction lines very light. Now coming up from the bottom, I can mark in the bottom and then box in my top view. Now I'm going to translate this right across to my side view. Now I've got a boxed in area for my front view. Now I need to pop in my top view as well. So I'd be looking directly down on the top view. The base of the top view is given, and the width of the top view is 52. So if I'm looking directly down on my top view, it is 52. So I need to box that in. So I'll set it like this, with that at 0, and mark 52 high. Okay, trying to be as accurate as possible. Now I'm going to draw this line all the way across here. It might not even be enough. To create the side view, what you need to do is set up your set square so it sits on your T-square, and this is the 45-degree set square. Take it to the very top right corner of your front view where you've boxed in, and draw a 45-degree line running from that corner out. Now what we can do with this line is we can basically take all of the measurements from our top view and translate it down to our side view. So projecting this across to the 45, where it hits the 45, we can come straight down from that 45, and that will give us an identical gap. It will also, so the gap is from there to there is the same as there to there, and it will also give us the same width as what's shown on the top view without even having to measure. So okay, and these are all construction line weights, so nice and light. Just drawing in my base view, the base of my side view. Okay, so now I have boxed in my front, top and side view areas. At this point, now I can start putting in detail on my front view, and I always start with the front view with the detail. Now this little step out of the back I will start with, so that comes 20, and if I can measure as close as possible to my 0 point all the time, the better the accuracy. So always trying to start with that 0 point, Okay, and it goes up 24, so marking up 24, and we're just going to focus on the outlines at this point. So 24. Now I can very lightly, again construction line weight, translate that line up and this line out. You can see why I say light, because you're always going to have more lines than you need to actually show the shape, and we're going to have to use an eraser to remove some of these lines. Okay, now the other area is this little step out of the top. You can see it comes down 16, so let's measure down 16. I'm going to actually do it from here. I measure down 16, line up my T-square with that point. It's going to be on the right side of my front view. Okay, so on the right side of my front view is where that first step goes, and then this comes back. Now to work this out, it's not directly given me that distance between of the fork, but we can see if this part is 40, of course we can just measure and mark that, and it's 80, so it's basically 40 from each side. So I'm going to mark 40 along and use my T-square and set square together to give myself the end of that step. Okay, at this point I can use an eraser to clean up lines I don't really need, I don't really want, and I can firm in my outline. Now there's a hidden detail which we can put on the front view at this point, which is basically the very back edge of this fork. So you can see here it's 30 back. So hidden detail is obviously things that we don't see looking at things square, but they exist behind the surface. And we used a dashed line. The dashed line is generally like a 2 mil long, 1 mil gap, and consistently dashed. Of course I don't measure that out specifically, but it's a judgment call as to showing a dashed line. So there's your dashed line, and of course I need to firm in the outline of my shape, so I'm going to go and firm that in, which you can either do now or you can do when you've got all of your front, top and side completed. I'm just going to do it now so you can see as you go. Okay, so I'm firming in. So these are outlines. This is outline weight at this point that I'm going for. So I'm making it darker than the construction lines. And that's an important step to finish off your drawing. Do it up the top here too. And then the other edges. All right, and I can clean up all of those areas that are not part of my shape. So down here and so on. Now I need to do, of course, the lines on my top view, and I will do, there's some more information that's going to be revealed on that top view that I can't show on my front view, and that's why we always have more than one view. So on the top view, what we can do is we can take some lines from our front view without even having to do new measurements, and we will translate that line straight up. Okay, because that line is that top face. Now the other bits that we're going to put in is the fork. So you can't see that this one's 10 and 14 from this angle, so this is where the separate views become very useful. So now remember, if I'm looking directly down, if the front fork would be 10 and the back would be 14. So just being aware of what orientation your views are going to be. So backwards 14. Okay, and here we've got a little bit of a gap, okay, and it's 10. So if you remember, that was 40, that was 40. So this gap here is going to be 10. And I mean, we could just, it's right here, so we could translate that up. I'm going to do it in a construction line because I still need to do my forks. Okay, so nice light construction line, and I can come back here, making sure everything's lined up, do my line work. Same here. Right, okay, so I've got my top view and I need to firm that in, of course, and clean up any lines that aren't part of my shape. So that one's going to go too, and I'm going to firm this whole thing in. The other thing I need to show on this is a hidden detail. Now it's this line back here. Now I can just again take it from my front view and place it on my top view. I always focus on one view at a time. Make sure that that's drawing okay. So just a series of dashes for my hidden detail. Try and do this quickly for you. Okay, and now I need to firm in. So I could probably start removing some of my construction lines in the corners so I can get a nice clean outline of my shape. As I'm about to go and firm all that in. Anywhere I don't want, and I don't want extended lines, I want a nice clean drawing. So making sure I'm going to the right point there, not making it longer than it needs to. So this one we're not going to do any dimensions on. I'm going to go and do all of my horizontals first, coming down my drawing, and then I'll do the verticals coming across. It was hard to see where that was ending, so I went too far. I do have to clean that up so it's nice and sharp. Okay, now all my verticals. I don't want to firm in the hidden detail too much, but I definitely want the outlines to be very clear and firm. Okay, it's important to define your shape very clearly. That one I put in straight away, so that one I don't need to go over. And when you do go over your lines, be very, very careful you don't create a double line, because of course double lines reduce accuracy, reduce the communication of that clear shape. So line work is very important, especially in orthogonals. Okay, so I've firmed in my top view, and now I'm going to come and do the side view. Now with the side view, again, I can use that 45-degree line. So if I bring that across, I don't even need to draw the whole thing in. Just bring that across to the 45, and then I can translate that straight down to my side view. And I can even bring this one across, since I'm here, from here. This one's going to be firm, so I'm just going to firm that in straight away. And then below that, I've got the forks. So from there to there, I'm going to bring those forks down. and the second one, which is slightly thicker. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to firm in my side view and then I'm done. Okay, it's important also to clean up all your construction lines so you've got a nice neat drawing. Just making sure I can see my corners. And bottom, doing my horizontals first, then finishing with verticals, and then cleaning up all of that. That one's good. Making sure my T-square is nice and firm up against the edge of my drawing board, so all my lines are referencing that same true edge. Alright, now this, we're not going to be doing dimensions on this one today. This is just a practice in translating an isometric drawing to an orthogonal and putting in hidden detail, and just that process of first boxing in, then focusing in on details on each view as you go and translating those to the different views. There it is. That is our final drawing. Well done.